From the mud to the rise, yeah, we built it on the grind. Trench talk, real talk, leave the fake ones behind. We don't fold, we don't break, every move we define. It's the code from the trenches where the real ones align.
So, 50 Cent, our favorite troll turned mogul, decided to take a break from counting his millions and flexing on Instagram to reignite his beef with Joe Budden. You know Joe Budden, the guy who went from pump it up to pump the brakes on your career? Yeah, him. Here's the tea. 50 deleted all his posts about Joe Budden over the weekend, and for a hot second we thought, wow, maybe 50's finally matured. Maybe he's gonna let this go and focus on his vitamin water empire. But nah, fam, this is 50 Cent we're talking about. The man who could start a fight in an empty room. He came back with a new post that basically said, "You gonna sue me, Joe? LOL. I'm not the one. Let's get face to face so you can tell me about the therapy I need." Now let's break this down. When 50 says face to face, he's not talking about a chill coffee date. Nah, this is 50's way of saying when I see you, it's on site. Translation: Joe Budden better start stretching and practicing his duck and weave because 50's coming for those cheeks. And let's be real, Joe's not exactly built for a scrap. The man's more likely to write a 45-minute podcast episode about the fight than actually throw hands. But how do we even get here? Oh, let's rewind. This whole mess started after the passing of Irv Gotti, RIP. Instead of keeping it classy, 50 posted some shady stuff like, "I wish you were here to see the rest of my success." Now to the untrained eye, that might sound like a tribute, but if you know 50, you know that was a straight up, "I'm still winning and you're not here to see it" flex. Savage? Yes. Necessary? Absolutely not. Joe Budden, being the self-appointed therapist of hip-hop, called 50 out and said he needs therapy for always bringing negativity, even in moments of loss. And honestly, Joe's not wrong, but here's the thing. Joe Budden suggesting therapy is like Cardi B teaching a class on subtlety. Pot, meet kettle. Now let's talk about the real beef, 50 and Irv Gotti. These two have been at each other's throats since the early 2000s. Irv Gotti and Murder Inc. tried to blackball 50 after he got shot 9 times. Yes, 9 times. Instead of being like, damn, that's tough, Irv and his crew made diss tracks mocking 50 and tried to erase him from the rap game. But guess what? 50 linked up with Eminem and Dr. Dre, dropped In Club, and the rest is history. Meanwhile, Murder Inc. is out here looking like a defunct blockbuster. So fast forward to now, and Joe Budden, who's somehow still relevant, decides to poke the bear. And by bear, I mean 50 Cent, who's less of a bear and more of a honey badger. He doesn't care, he'll fight anyone, anytime, anywhere. And Joe? Well, Joe's out here acting like he's about that life, but we all know he's more likely to write a diss poem than throw a punch. So Joe Budden, our favorite self-proclaimed hip-hop therapist, hasn't just been beefing with 50 Cent. Oh no, he's also got a bone to pick with 50's OG Eminem. You know, the guy who can rap faster than your Wi-Fi connection? Yeah, him. Joe's been throwing shade at M for years, especially about how he handled Slaughterhouse, the rap group Joe was part of. Joe's out here acting like Eminem personally sabotaged their careers, like M was hiding their CDs in a vault somewhere. But let's get into the specifics. Joe once called Eminem's 2017 track Untouchable a 2-pack of trash and said, "Throw it in Rice, it's still trash." First of all, Joe, Rice is for saving phones, not songs. Second, this is the same Joe Budden who gave us Pump It Up, a song that's basically the audio version of a participation trophy. But hey, opinions are like podcasts, everyone's got one, and most of them are too long. Eminem, being the lyrical assassin he is, didn't take this lying down. On his Kamikaze album, he clapped back at Joe and pretty much everyone else who ever looked at him sideways. M was like, "I'm out here promoting Slaughterhouse every chance I get, and you're out here trashing me? Bro, I've never once said your music is trash, even though I could've." And let's be real, M could have ended Joe's whole career with one verse, but he didn't. That's restraint, folks. But wait, it gets better. Remember when I said 50 Cent got stabbed during a studio brawl with Murder Inc.? Yeah, that happened. And what did Irv Gotti and his crew do afterward? They hopped on Smack DVD, RIP to the golden era of hip-hop drama, and bragged about it. They were out here calling 50 a snitch, trying to ruin his street cred. Meanwhile, 50's over here like, "I got shot 9 times, stabbed, and blackballed, and I'm still winning. What's your excuse?" Now fast forward to today, and Joe Budden's caught in the crossfire of 50's decades-long grudge. Joe thought he was safe because he's not Irv Gotti, but nah, 50's like, "You talked about M? You talked about me? you're getting the smoke too. And let's be real, Joe's not built for this kind of heat. He's out here trying to mediate like he's hosting The View, but 50's not trying to hear it. Now, let's pause for a second. Joe Budden, the guy who's made a career out of being emotionally unstable on podcasts, is out here diagnosing 50 like he's Dr. Phil with a fade. Bold move, Joe. Bold move. But 50? Oh, 50 didn't take that lightly. He went full war mode. And by war mode, I mean he hit Joe with the ultimate weapon, AI-generated memes. That's right, folks. 50 was out here posting AI-generated content clowning Joe, throwing shade so thick you'd need a machete to cut through it. It was like a digital roast session, and Joe was the main course. Then out of nowhere, 50 deletes all the posts. For a hot second we thought, hey, maybe 50's finally tired. Maybe he's moved on to trolling someone else like Ja Rule or the IRS, but nah, this is 50 Cent we're talking about. The man who could start a fight in a library. He came back bigger, badder, and with more smoke than a California wildfire. Now the big question is, how does this all play out? Does this stay a war of words, or do we see this spill into real life drama? Because let's be real, 50's not the type to let things go. He's the guy who holds grudges longer than your grandma holds onto her expired coupons. And Joe? Well, Joe's out here acting like he's too rich and too evolved for this nonsense. But we all know he's still a firecracker. This is the same guy who went viral for squabbling with the Wu-Tang Clan. Yeah, Wu-Tang Clan. Ain't nothing beneath Joe when the adrenaline kicks in. So, what happens if 50 actually pulls up on Joe, like he's implying in his posts? Does Joe stand his ground, or does he suddenly remember he's a media guy now and calls security? And if security gets involved, does 50 start trolling them too? Because you know 50's not above roasting a whole security team on Instagram. Or worse, what if this gets legal? Can you imagine 50 Cent and Joe Budden in a courtroom? 50 would show up in a 3-piece suit, smirking like he's about to drop the hottest diss track of all time. Joe would be out here writing a 12-part podcast series about the trial before the judge even bangs the gavel. The optics alone would be chef's kiss. But here's the real tea. 50 Cent is out here living his best life, trolling Joe Budden, and reminding us all why he's the king of petty. Meanwhile, Joe's probably somewhere drafting a 12-part podcast series about why 50's the problem. Keep in mind, don't poke the bear, Joe, especially when the bear's name is 50 Cent and he's got Eminem on speed dial. Joe Budden thought he could play both sides, but now he's stuck in the middle of a hip-hop hurricane. And 50, he's just sitting back, sipping his vitamin water and laughing all the way to the bank. Do we actually think these two will sit down and talk it out like adults? Let's be real. 50's idea of a conversation is probably, say that to my face and we'll see how therapy works for you. And Joe? Well, Joe's idea of conflict resolution is a 45-minute monologue about his feelings. So no, I don't see a peaceful resolution happening anytime soon. In conclusion, this beef is like a Netflix series that just won't end. Every time you think it's over, 50 drops a new episode. And Joe? Well, he's just trying to stay relevant enough to keep his podcast numbers up. So grab your popcorn, folks. This saga is far from over. Joe Budden might want to invest in some better running shoes because 50 Cent's not letting this go anytime soon. And M, well, he's probably somewhere writing a 10-minute diss track just in case. Drops mic, exits stage left, and waits for 50's next Instagram post.